They say at WhatCulture, everyone's got a gimmick, an eel, a drink, a podcast that can be controlled. But the great ones, they use it to their advantage. They own it. They've got them right where they want them. The rest just haven't figured it out yet.
See, guys, anything's possible in the pyramid.
So, Uno!
Wait, are we not playing poker?
Well, this didn't work. Should we go back to Vegas?
Yeah?
Okay.
Welcome back to fabulous WhatCulture Mania Las Vegas. 4 nights, free entry. You'll be getting WrestleMania ups and downs live in the Luxor Hotel and Casino, and start spreading the news because we're bringing Raw and SmackDown watch parties to New York, New York. Plus, there will be even more huge announcements coming soon, so sign up and be the first to know.
Yes, anything really is possible in the pyramid.
Hello and welcome to the Raw Preview. We are the Dudley Boys of WhatCulture. I'm Adam Wilbourn, joined by Michael Hamflett and Michael Sidgwick, here to look ahead to tonight's episode of Raw. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube, where we do daily wrestling podcasts where we not only review Raw, but also SmackDown, of course. The show formerly known as, I almost forgot it there, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. AW Dynamite pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a roundup of the week complete with a very good quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. As I said, though, joined by Hamflett and Sidgwick to look ahead to Raw tonight and all the fallout from Elimination Chamber.
Kind of rushed that intro at the end there, I think. A little bit. I don't know. I don't know the card for this Raw, and obviously there's different cards for different shows, isn't there? And historically, after the pay-per-views and the PLEs, it's tricky to talk about stuff without stepping on our own dicks when we've got an Elimination Chamber review coming. But proudly, I'm at this point so excited for WrestleMania that they can pretty much fart out anything they want and point at the sign a lot, and it'll feel good.
That's quite frankly terrible analysis.
No, it's the opposite, in fact. It is a reminder of what this promotion is and serves to be, which is all hands on deck to the biggest show of the year, the very point of promotion. Even if you've got nothing, I think they've got something, but even if you've got nothing, you sell it as something. And that's what they've got to do. I don't think they've got nothing, by the way. I'm just kind of preemptively...
You're basically saying they can do anything and you'll still be excited.
To a degree, but that's...
I mean, what am I doing here with that?
That's effective promotion, isn't it?
No, it isn't. It's effective brainwashing. It is effective brainwashing.
It's WrestleMania season.
Yes.
That's an exciting time to watch WWE if you like WWE. Some of the stories could be better. Some of the stories I actually really like. Effective show, we'll talk about it later.
Okay.
But that's what
what a pass they get.
There is an energy. Yeah, but it's earned. You know.
What does WrestleMania 13 and the TV before that have to do with any of this? And at this point, what does WrestleMania 40 and the build to that have to do with any of this?
Just said it. Like WrestleMania 13 and WrestleMania 40, those things happened. You can relive them anytime you want on Netflix. Like I did last week.
I was going to say he was on the treadmill.
Okay, I can't. This is the
worst.
worst time of year for me to do my job, and I'm dead serious when I say that. I can't do a thing with you two. I can't.
Well, it's because
he's going on a nice jaunt to America. That's gone. He's going to a nice jaunt to America and calling it work. I'm not Doug. Because I feel it's a little something called parental responsibility. So
you're just happy for your friends, aren't you?
No. You don't know anything about me.
I know.
I can't do my job at this time of year. I can't. Because my job is to push back on brainwashing. I'm not being funny. You're not on an X anymore. It's fine. I'll bring you up to speed. Even Raj Geary said that the Chamber wasn't very good and WrestleMania season's not hot.
I don't disagree with the WrestleMania season not hot. I'm looking forward to a bit of critical analysis and Elimination Chamber. I'll just tell you what I liked and didn't.
Okay.
But
I'm happy with that.
But I'm more excited.
I need it.
But I'm more excited in one of the things I did like about the show.
Especially you're mostly excited about WrestleMania in spite of everything.
Not everything, but a lot of things.
Yeah. Great.
Question.
Follow me at M. Sidgwick. Yes.
If you weren't going to Las Vegas, Michael Hamflett, would you be as excited about WrestleMania right now?
I think a lot of stuff is on track as a result of the Elimination Chamber. Like, a lot of stuff I wanted to see solidified has been. Like, I don't care how much of a mark this makes me sound. Like,
I'm quite certain of that at this point.
that one's long gone. Like, things getting like laid out formally that I was looking forward to see laid out formally. That happening, these directions being solidified. That's stuff I like. That's stuff I enjoy.
No, at least that's consistent
about the process, you know. So like the match graphics flash up. I don't think I'm alone in this. Like, the match graphics flash up as a result of various like results and like the way the bookings played out. And you're like, great. That's the thing. That if I wasn't going, which was the case every year before like WrestleMania 35, that would still be the bit where I was like, right, home straight now. This is cool. You know, this is the stuff I like the most.
I'll allow it.
Thanks. Thanks. Appreciate that. I'll write that down.
Is there anything like advertised? Because I'm trying not to step on.
It's a big show tonight.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that.
So I'm trying not to step on the dick of the. Should probably send the notes over. I was trying not to step.
Research. It's your job.
No. It's your job. You used to send them over. So.
Yeah, well, I'm busy. Got other stuff to do. Management now. So, one of the big things.
How many people already do? Because he didn't do any management with me.
I was doing deals left, right, and centre. Don't worry about it. Busy.
Deal.
Danny Deals over here. No, the big thing, of course, post-Elimination Chamber is Roman Reigns and CM Punk face-to-face, potentially at least tonight, with,
is he it?
Roman's on the show,
I did not know that.
With CM Punk, last week threatening to punch him in the face and going after him on that post-show panel that I've seen shared everywhere.
What?
Yeah.
I do need to do my job better.
You do need to do your job better. There's two things that you've missed in the wake of Elimination Chamber. What was said at the press conference, CM Punk? And I'll fill him in on the Roman tweet.
Roman tweeted something, and then Punk fired back at this, saying about how, you know, he was responsible for the success of ticket sales and stuff at, in Chicago for Elimination Chamber, and saying he was going to hit a GTS on every single one of his stupid family, and calling him Rusty Reigns because he never shows up. And, you know, the point of Punk is, yes, he may well be tired, but the reps is what keeps him invested and why he's a fighting champion, basically.
Basically, Roman Reigns tweeted. Roman Reigns tweeted, I don't know, I'm paraphrasing, but this is close, I believe. I don't know who's more tired, the crowd or the champion. I'll see you tomorrow or whatever. See you on Monday.
Right. So this is. I am going to step my own dick. I apologise. Like, don't want to, but it's reality is to talk about this, isn't it? That's interesting to me. There was a point I was going to make in. I'll spoiler it now. A match I loved from this this Punk battle thing. That's right. Spirited debate, disagreement, etc.
Yep.
I thought it was really pointed that Wade Barrett used the phrase a couple of times, no spring chicken. And they were talking about how, like, kind of want like Punk has looked like this before. I think they used the Gunther match as an example.
They talked about that,
Punk has looked like this before. He's looked tired. Like, he is showing the wear and tear. He is older than, you know, like, sort of he wants to let on sometimes. WWE historically, this was like a Vince McMahon edict with a few rule-proven exceptions. I'm thinking like Terry Funk in 1998, all women. Like, would never speak of the age of the talent as a negative. Like, Ric Flair's retirement run, win or retire, was never because you're old. It was because you're Ric Flair. And like, at some point, you have to retire. They would
Kevin Nash's dyed beard and stuff
they would always steer away from age as a storyline driver. And it really stuck out to me. Like, you know, watching Punk and being able to, like, right, Punk does look knackered in some of these matches. Like, your investment may vary, your mileage may vary on how much you like that as a feature of these matches, but that's the point. I felt like they were trying to turn that bug into a feature, if you even saw it as a bug in the first place, which I go both ways on really with Punk. But, like, I felt it was like feature, not bug, in particular in this match of the weekend, the way the commentators were leaning on it, the way that, like, Punk was blowing at various points, and you think, like, he could just be knackered, he's getting on. You know,
he's not working it,
but
he is not working it.
But it's interesting that the Roman Reigns like targets that straight away, and that becomes an added ingredient in what's already off one promo, a pretty exciting, combustible build between the two. This idea of like Punk having little respect for the bloodline and the majesty of The Rock's big graphic of like all the family members, and then Roman almost like looking Punk up and down and then looking at himself. You're joking, mate. There's like, that's a real, the whole make Roman look strong. It's like, you're the last person I need like to make me look strong, old man. Like that feels like an immediate cool thing to draw from.
So, I mean, I know. I'm not technically paid. We don't do a review of the post show, so I'm not going to do it if you paid me. Punk said I'm going to give a GTS to every member of his stupid family.
He said potentially I could, but he certainly said last week,
So
I'm going
he's
to punch
like-
you in the face. I could. What if, he was talking about what ifs, obviously, with Finn Balor.
Yeah.
He said, what if I punched Roman in the face when I saw him next week?
Because he could say, I know I might get blown up in a wrestling match because I'm a fighting champion. At least I don't get blown up doing my entrance like your stupid cousin.
Yeah.
But I know, like, Punk and JR, are they on friendly terms in the storyline?
Yeah, narratively there.
Yeah, I thought so.
All right.
Look, it's
booted him in the head and told him to focus up when they had that match at Saturday Night's Main Event at that time.
God, I can't.
Stop being terrible, Jey Uso, for God's sake.
I've never seen anyone on that neckbreaker spot look more like a sack of in a pro wrestling ring. And I have watched Heroes of Wrestling. Like, you go back and watch Heroes of Wrestling now, right? I think we need to potentially reappraise it in the wake of Jey Uso : main event world champion. You watch, like, is it Marty Jannetty and who in that opener?
Oh, God, it's not Stan Lane, but it may as well be.
Like Jannetty plus
yeah.
3.
They're all younger than CM Punk is today.
Yeah,
You
and
know, it's like...
Marty Jannetty is getting pelters for this performance because he's one of the best proto-fed work rate guys, and in 1999 he does not look like that. He's in good nick, to be honest.
6 years before he came back and wrestled Kurt Angle and got his job back on
He's got that.
WWTV. Like,
He's kind of got that Piper 94.
yeah.
I should probably apply myself physique.
He was getting Nitro job spots and he was looking great for it.
Yeah. And that is considered you washed disgrace. What have you brought? What damage have you wrought to the good name of professional wrestling in 1999? Like, what are you doing, Marty? You should be ashamed of yourself doing this Heroes of Wrestling. Like, he looks like Speed Muscle in that match compared to Jey Uso in Saturday Night's Main Event. That's one way they could do. More broadly about this as a storyline driver, I'm in favor of it. As long as you have Roman laugh and Punk say, well, it's kind of what you need to do when you're my age, and it's more impressive that I huff and puff and get it done. You know, it is unique. I don't think they would do it and work it in the way that you could argue that the AEW one was, even though he was sweating during those first AEW matches. It's so noticeable now that you can't ignore it.
It's 5 years.
It is
2021.
so noticeable now how never a great athlete, how much does it matter, CM Punk is struggling through these long matches. And look, the rule of WrestleMania season is, like, this is where you go, this is where you don't pull your punches, this is where you can swear a bit if you want, this is where you, I know it doesn't exist, but, you know, for lack of a better phrase, this is where you break kayfabe, because the idea is it is better to sell the animosity between the wrestlers than it is keep the illusion that wrestling's real, because everyone knows it isn't. What you want from this season is the idea of, right, you want to create interest, you want your gasp lines, you want your, they said that about this wrestler, you know. The operating principle of the WrestleMania build was kind of like this under Vince as well. Nowadays, certainly, is, look, we'll never convince these people that this is real, and Levesque is more open than potentially any wrestling booker ever, that, since Russo, but in different ways. Oh, it's fake, it's a cinema, it's a movie about a sport, etc. The rule is they're not going to believe the product is real or whatever, but we can make them believe that these two hate each other. That is what they do a lot of. You get the work shoot lines out the ass around this time of year. So I feel like that is the specific angle they're taking. And I think it's clever because, like, people aren't going to remember. Like, people don't even know who the Danhausen is, let alone remember what Roman Reigns said about CM Punk in a 2021 media interview. But he did say, it's always stuck with me, this quote. Roman Reigns said of CM Punk, because Roman Reigns is the spokesperson. Apparently, he was one of the few people who was like, I'm not even going to negotiate with AEW for leverage. I know where my bread's buttered. I know they're going to pay me regardless. He's a WWE guy till the end, you know? And so he was in the media interviews like, oh, what do you think about this AEW? And he was very dismissive, as he would be, you know? And he was like, oh, what do you think about CM Punk's return? He was like, sucks, he's old. He does not have an explosive bone in his body. So even though they've never really profiled, certainly, you know, the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, this huge, great athlete, but they can lean on it. That is a much better one than Punk to sell the story.
I love, I mean, a lot, I guess we're speaking speculatively here, but there's obvious avenues with which to explore. And they've already touched on it a little bit with that, like, first exchange they had when Roman booked the match. Like, I love that every now and then a story comes along, and Sidge is right as well. It's far smarter to play with what people already know about the reality than it is try and, like, you can add layers of fiction to it, but this should be underpinned by both men thinking that they should be in the spot and the other one shouldn't be. It's often the case where when there's a little shred of disrespect that, like, the program falls apart. I don't know if this has worked or not, but that's the magic of it. Really, it's a dance, isn't it? This is the dance. Like, wrestlers that don't respect each other, like, that can often go off the rails because there's got to be a respect there at the very beginning. Otherwise, everybody just starts shooting, or everybody's just more like it's keener to get their line out than not. Like, you could see, I think he's actually gained a bit of respect for Seth Rollins begrudgingly, but you could see in the early days CM Punk had none for Seth Rollins, and it was sort of captivating at times, but then sort of disruptive at others. Like, the eye roll wasn't necessarily serving the story. It was like that kind of banging the microphone against his head when he got the interruption. Ultimately, that became something they were able to weave into the fiction, and I do believe through, like, gritted teeth and repetition, they've probably found, like, a working mutual respect. You only do 1% of disrespect. The rest can be, now we're going to do business together. We both know that we've drawn in our own ways. They could both have one of them arguments that they believe they are 100% correct about each other's drawing power or lack thereof. Like, Roman Reigns can very believably say, like, the WWE that you were able to throw back into is the one that I, like, rebuilt, blah, blah. He can believe that while, like, asking everybody to ignore the first 5-6 years of the biggest, most expensive failed push this side of the Lex Express. CM Punk can say, are you joking, mate? Like, I've got every consistent metric on my side that suggests that, like, I'm actually the proper star around here. And then, like, say, and you needed people like me to even get going. Like, and it was more people like me, and you still failed, and you still failed. And you, like, they've got enough actual, very credible, like, armor to support themselves against one another when they're poking. And the top spot, is in itself. I know the belt is the Seth belt and whatever, and, like, Cody's made that WWE title over the last few years the belt. But something like QB1, top guy, Becky Lynch as the man, this has become fairly common vernacular within kayfabe now. It's, people understand that, and Unreal, people understand that top spot, like, you could say this to a layperson who's just watched Unreal. Well, in any job, someone's the boss based on, like, results. Wrestling sort of works the same way. It doesn't matter about the piece of jewelry they've got around their waist. Like, this is that as much as anything else is that spot. Drew McIntyre has suffered the consequences of not being the guy that is fit for that spot. You know, I think it's a perfectly reasonable thing to argue over in the fiction now.
This is possibly the best or most credible version of something I'm increasingly not interested in, of, like, this constant talk of, well, I make more money for the company, I'm the best ambassador for the company, I'm the best representative for the company, and I'm going to do a work shoot line at your expense, and these sort of very, very long verbal volleys. You know, I'm not really into it anymore. However, with these two in particular, it would be sort of bizarre to tack on some kind of proper pro wrestling angle to it. Like, you know, like, just for example, limousine door breaking breaking someone's arm, and Punk wears a cast or whatever. Yeah. Just like, you know, like a territory staple. You don't need to do anything with this because there is a on-record pre-existing tension that, quite frankly, if they touched on it much last year, I've kind of forgotten because Seth was there and I was more interested or more fixated on him wanting to go away. Really, than the actual any of the verbal sparring between
it was Paul
Punk
Heyman
and Roman. Yeah, and it was
Paul Heyman as a
based
prize
on
more than
Heyman.
it was. Yeah.
These two have got. So there's two things. One, this is the best that I wanted to say before I move on from it. One, this is a very credible version of something I'm not into more anymore. Like, these two genuinely don't like each other. They've got, as Hamflett outlined, a fascinating case of, like, oh no, I should be more important than you, or actually no, you should be grateful that you have a WWE to walk back into. It's all because of me. They can explore this, they can explore that. here's something that's held my fascination for a long, long time that I don't think has been reported particularly well or even spoken about, right? So you go back to the beginnings. You can half see why Roman would be a bit funny with Punk and maybe vice versa, because Punk, when his body was falling apart, his psyche was fractured, he didn't even know how close he was to quitting, was relentlessly told, keep Roman strong, keep Roman strong, keep Roman strong, keep Roman strong. It's like, Punk's like, are you kidding? Like, I've had the best 2013 of anyone in the company. I've not really had a go at the proper top, and I'm now being told to groom the next guy. I'm not saying that was the reason why I left, but there was a lot of factors that went into it. So I can see the resentment from that direction, from Punk to Roman. Equally, famously, CM Punk wanted Moxley, Black, and Chris Hero to be the Shield. They said, all right, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. We'll have Roman Reigns instead of Hero, and off we'll go. So maybe Roman's like, I wasn't considered for your little group. So I get why there's been animosity all along from Punk, and I don't get this Punk versus Shield feud that has seemingly happened like at all. If you go back to like 2011 Twitter, before the Shield debuted, Survivor Series 2012, or it might have been early 2012 Twitter, like CM Punk, when he was really locked into WWE and before like he had that miserable 2013 that he experienced, once tweeted a picture of Dean Ambrose making his entrance at a house show, captioned, "Our secret weapon." Like, Ambrose would get like the dark match, like he would loop and loop and loop on the dark matches because he was barely in NXT, FCW dark matches. So Punk had a very, very high opinion of Moxley Ambrose's potential to be a big WWE star.
Hot young thing around the Mania weekend,
Hot young thing around the Mania weekend, that Foley dropped thing.
All people were talking about online.
Punk was endorsing, and then unknown to WWE audiences, Dean Ambrose, big time, big time, big time. And he rated them so much, to not Roman obviously because he didn't want them in the group, but he rated Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose so highly that I was like, I want to work with these guys on TV. Bring them up, bring them up, bring them up, bring them up. He's endorsing Ambrose particularly on Twitter. And then fast forward to several years later, and then you hear about Brawl Out and the existing tensions between CM Punk and everyone. Oh, by the way, Punk and the Shield despise each other. Like, when did that happen? How did that happen? And more as it actually pertains to this podcast, do we find out across this WrestleMania build?
Do you think
what is it with this Punk and these Shield guys?
Do you think it's just a build-up of the three of them having a WhatsApp group, and then every time just Punk does something they don't like, they'll like take the piss out of him? Like the Moxley, the tweets, the DMs flying around if they're still mates from John Moxley when Punk was at his worst in AEW.
I know, but like what thing is to go from?
I know what you're
CM
saying,
Punk being a dick backstage in AEW. I mean, breaking news. It isn't. Everyone knows this, but it seems very personal. I know Seth and considered Punk a friend and he idolized Punk and he felt spurned. So I kind of get it from that side. But what the hell happened with the Ambrose thing?
Yeah.
Just Punk versus the Shield is like a pretty underreported backstage feud. And I've just always been fascinated. How do you go from that Punk tweet to what happened between? Because if you know,
I think it's individual beasts. There's been like a confluence. Like, I don't think Roman Reigns, in real life, would have ever had like much room for like a lot of respect for CM Punk outside of a brief time working together. Seth Rollins feels like the hurt feelings, and we're not saying that in a mocking sense, genuinely hurt feelings. They'd worked together on the NXT, as you see. He was like bigging him up for the Shield spot and then feeling let down and then gradually buying
Punk
into
went to Florida Championship Wrestling famously on his day off and worked 30 minutes with Dean Ambrose because he loved him so much and he wanted that to get a bit of online buzz.
Yeah.
What happened there as well? Because like
something happened in AEW, when like, I know Punk would have been doing this for like sort of internet points, and I get that, and he's terrible for that, and I know he does it, but I don't think he would have done this particular thing just for points. Remember the promo he cut in support of Moxley when he went to rehab in AEW?
Yes.
Like, I am willing to, even from a charlatan like CM Punk, I'm willing to buy that like it was important that as a kind of a leader in AEW, he got those words out. So this like company stance on what happens when a guy goes to rehab. This is good.
Yeah.
Go and heal. I think they had that tag match together against FTR, and it was quite sweet, wasn't it? Like seeing.
I thought the vibes were off.
Did you?
Because if you go back to Punk doing that rehab promo, like he said something along the line, me and John Moxley haven't always gotten along, but I'll endorse him none the same.
Yeah.
There was no warm, it wasn't.
That's fair, yeah, maybe.
I remember it was an impromptu match. So that was one of the reasons why I disliked it intensely. While everyone had fun with the Super Friends, and it was a case of I am the asshole. Everyone loves this, but I didn't really get much of a cool. And I just felt frosty. I thought that match was a bit of a clunker. Looking back,
I suppose like top star, butting heads things.
I don't know. Look, we can speculate all day what the reasons are. I hope we find out throughout this build just to deepen that tension. So you know when you're one of those where you're certain there's a story there.
Yeah, maybe.
I just want to know what it is. Maybe the story is CM Punk's That's what a lot of people in wrestling story is, to be honest. Like, I'm putting...
There were a lot of people that did not...
That's what people say.
Like, even indirectly, did not do well off the Cabana podcasts and the Shield with 3 of those, because you threatened to kind of undermine all of their aura by telling the make Roman look strong story, because it doesn't half make Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins just seem like complete loser, second fiddle wrestlers, and all 3 of them as a unit look like they can't even exist without CM Punk. Like the great CM Punk kind of...
Roman did touch on that in his Raw promo.
Yeah.
Like, you got no idea how hard you made my life with that stupid podcast.
Like, all of them would have felt that, like, round and round Rudes, like, when they're just killing time, hours and hours at a time, and we're like, well, that dickhead. Like, on a bad night, Roman's getting the booze, Seth's struggling, Ambrose has got a red wagon, and, all they're doing is chanting CM Punk, you know, like...
early singles push, the launch was pretty poor.
Yeah.
Because it's Ambrose, remember the lumberjack? What did they call it? What did Ambrose call it in a promo? Human cage. It's a lumberjack match.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here? The Romans sucked with that terrible babyface theme.
Does Punk think he could get Mitch the potted plant over? You know, that would have been all like he would have been an easy person for them.
Jeff Hardy famously in the Shield.
Like throw some digs at and stuff. Like,
now, there's a lot in here, and I hope it's explored on telly.
Like 6 weeks of this, basically.
Well, how many Roman? 4. How many Raws?
I think so, yeah. Quite a few. I'll double check.
I'll tell you what would be great, you know, if Punk...
I've got the date here if you want.
Aha,
yeah, please.
Thank you.
I say that confidently, but it's back to front because it's American dates. 2nd of... Well, today. That's today. The 16th, the 23rd, and the 30th. And then it looks like the last one is the 13th of April.
It's a nice spread, and I'd really like it. Obviously, you don't want to risk injuries and stuff. It'd be a funny device if, like, CM Punk was, like, working non-title matches on every week that Roman Reigns wasn't there. You know, like, he's been, the whole story of this run has been kind of working against his own age and his own, like, sort of how, like, knackered warhorse world champion. And he's just, somebody says, I want a match against CM Punk. Like, you got it, buddy. Like, it's a tune-up for me. Roman Reigns isn't even here. Like, as an added, like, sort of detail of the weeks that Roman isn't there and you haven't got this to look for. I think they might I don't know if Roman wrestles. I can't see him wrestling before WrestleMania.
When was the last time? How many times has he wrestled on Raw since going part-time?
God.
Once? Against Solo? On the Netflix premiere, which is essentially a PLE platform.
That's the only one that sprung to mind when you said it.
He's not wrestling on TV. No chance.
Did he? He didn't do one of them, like... No, he didn't, did he? It's always run-ins and it's always, like, saves and things like that, yeah.
I'm not seeing much here apart from like a super show in Mexico or...
So just play into that. If he's not going to wrestle and there's like, I don't know, 4 mid-carders that Punk wants to work.
And then you could also advance the story of CM Punk being way too stubborn, way too much of, you know, his own worst enemy. Like he's one of the top stars in wrestling. You can't really call him that as an insult these days, but he could tire himself out.
Yeah. Start taping the body parts up a bit, and like it's fairly easy for CM Punk to look tired. You know?
But there's lots of other things on tonight's show as well, including post Elimination Chamber, new women's Intercontinental Champion and Mrs. CM Punk, AJ Lee, set to appear. I didn't call it; none of us did really. The title switch, but I thought in the moment it was the right thing to happen. But obviously, one would assume it still is going to get run back at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think we talked when this got announced for Elimination Chamber. Certainly, we did. All kind of came to the conclusion that there'd be a stepped-up rematch at WrestleMania. I think I like the idea of Becky cheating to win, but in hindsight, I think it was wrong. And I think I agree with you. I think it was the right move to put the belt on AJ Lee in that sort of. I don't know. I'm not sitting here and saying AJ Lee's like some great wrestler or anything, but I do think she's one that you strike while the iron's hot, and it's already cooling. You know, it's with AJ Lee, it's already cooling. But it's like it's been good enough, I think, and I include the match. It has been good enough. I thought Becky Lynch did a commendable job. It was a bit of a carry job, but I thought AJ was.
Tell she was enjoying it, couldn't you?
Yeah, she was in there with her for it. And now Becky Lynch has got the like reasonable claim for like one last shot at her. She's never beaten her either. So I know that the heel babyface dynamic might seem a bit off, but they were hammering that like AJ Lee has been this like hex on Becky Lynch's life, beats her in every scenario they wrestle in, and has now taken a title. She's cost her a title and she hasn't even been wrestling her, like the Maxine Dupree switch.
Jessica Carter as well.
That's it. Like Becky Lynch has now got I've got to have a rematch because of this. She gets it because AJ Lee's a babyface and isn't going to like knock back the challenge. And you get like the stipulation, the smoke and mirrors and the stipulations of a WrestleMania match, and the setting, and the idea that like AJ Lee's comeback is almost punctuated by a WrestleMania stadium appearance. She won the post streak match, didn't she, at WrestleMania 30? And she wrestled.
Oh my God, that was surreal.
Like, so that was the all-time hospital pass of matches. And she was, like, in hindsight...
Like, if you go back and watch it, like, the first 5 minutes of the main event, like, cloaked in that atmosphere.
She sort of got through rather, like, untenable circumstances at WrestleMania 31 in order to try and, like, help Paige because of the breakdown between Punk and WWE, and then did her last match on the Raw after that WrestleMania in a Bayley t-shirt. So, like, there's a lot of... like, I don't know, like goodness to that in attempting to do something good by the people she knew she was going to have to leave. So that I think, again, I know I'm conscious about all this stuff sounding like just like fed brainwashing stuff, but like a nice big WrestleMania singles program. If we're doing the, like, if nothing else, right, if we're doing like the AJ Lee vindication tour and what she didn't get in a time where like she was trying to get things that were just never going to happen with that butterfly belt, a big-time WrestleMania singles match against the first woman to ever main event WrestleMania. It's quite an easy thing to promote and elevate and escalate the stakes with some weapons, whatever. Like, I think that's Mania-worthy. I think it's very easy to polish up as this, not just a rematch.
You got to be wary. Well, I like to be wary because I don't want to come across naive, right? So this is basically, I don't think they're going to do this. It wouldn't shock me if they did what I'm about to set out, because you got to be careful about, like, be realistic. Like, you know what they should do? Should book like Crockett in 86. They're never going to do that. It's just not how it works. But maybe, just maybe, right, they've taken this very heightened and at times shockingly performed overall program between AJ Lee and Becky Lynch, with the idea being that if you look at the beats of the story here and something they did last year, which I'll come back to. So Becky Lynch is playing this heightened, cartoonish, impossible to take seriously, unraveling maniac, clearly patterned after Donald Trump, with the capitalized tweets and all the rest of it. Meanwhile, AJ Lee has had that, that smirk on her face the whole time, playing dumb, like interfering, costing her titles, but then playing it nice in promos and just being the woodpecker in Becky Lynch's psyche. And then, with the sort of help of Jessica Carr, in Becky Lynch's mind, the help of Jessica Carr, that's the name of the ref, isn't it? She takes the title off her. Is this now not grounds? If you want to juice this up for WrestleMania, they did it last year. Maybe this could be their once-a-year thing. Again, I don't think they will do this. It wouldn't surprise me. I don't think they will. Like, and AJ Lee probably never got the chance to do this, and it's rare that you get a proper worked one with the women's division. Run that razor. Becky Lynch, at the natural conclusion of this character who's going insane and all the rest of it, and has had every wrongdoing in her head committed to her, and the smiling, skipping AJ Lee is... She should run the razor and beat her up and do a horrifying heat angle.
Yeah.
Like that
Mania's season is a time where they sometimes...
They did it last year with Gunther and Jimmy, did they not? Mm-hmm. It's, why not do it again? And like, you can have your annual dose of proper blood. As I said, the rules are somewhat relaxed or different around WrestleMania season. A bit more personal on the work shoot jibes, bit of blood. Like, you do these things at this time of year so that it feels more special and like rare events and more serious and significant and what have you. I feel like if they're going to do an annual bloodletting, if you like, this is the feud that could do with it, because it makes sense from the perspective of the characters. Potentially writes AJ Lee off telly for a few weeks because someone's going to have to get written off. This is going to... The problem with doing it in April 19th and 20th, other than the fact that it's on my daughter's birthday and I can't go to Vegas with the boys, right? But the problem with that is...
Yeah, you really felt it last year.
You really felt... that's not an excuse.
No.
Not an excuse.
Should time it out.
It doesn't help. And it's their fault, but it doesn't. They're not helping themselves. That's how I would do it, without trying to be like, just give the book to Crockett till the end of the season.
We booked a version of that on the Elimination Chamber preview that didn't end up playing out, but I still think they could do it, which is, you know how they, out of nowhere, reintroduced that shot they like? It was with Gunther being carted out the building and Cody coming in.
Okay, let's stop ejecting people from the building, by the way. I'm sick of this.
Yeah, it might be time. Like, but they hadn't done that shot for a bit where, like, everything is just happening. And then it's like one thing ends, another one starts. And they did that quite a lot for a while. Like the best one was like Sami Zayn and Jey Uso outside, wasn't it? And one was leaving and one was coming in. AJ gets, I hadn't thought blood. We'd said stretcher, but Becky Lynch completely loses it. AJ's getting wheeled out on a stretcher. And like it's as CM Punk's about to wrestle or about to talk. And the idea is your wife's getting wheeled past you and you've got to go to work. You got, if it's like, it's tight, we thought maybe like, because those two matches are like to go next to each other, CM Punk in Chicago about to fight Finn Balor, but the last thing he needs is having to watch his wife getting put into an ambulance. Like,
better than what they did.
Like you get the CM Punk entrance was absolutely godly.
Ruined by one factor, but we'll get to that.
I think we might agree on this, because I found it quite distracting on my third or fourth watch.
A loser.
Didn't care on the first one, I was nearly passing out.
Yeah.
But like, I was just trying to stay conscious with joy. But like, yeah, like I actually agree. I think like if you're going to step it up, if you're going to do whatever, we said this, that first promo exchange after the Royal Rumble was abysmal for multiple reasons.
Yes.
One of them being when I think the word she used was bludgeoned, but the idea that they attempted to staple on violence to this total clown show of a promo exchange was the moment where you're like, right, they probably are going to run this twice because this feud isn't a violent one yet.
Yeah.
Now it can become one. Yeah.
Quick question, by the way. With regards to Elimination Chamber stuff, do you think IYO SKY is doing it at Mania, and does that get addressed tonight, or are they just going to save that more for a SmackDown side of things?
I really love how this has played out. It's felt, we've talked around this, like if they had Bianca Belair as a maybe, and Rhea Ripley as the best possible plan B until it became apparent that Bianca Belair was a no and Rhea Ripley becomes plan A. I think this has played out really well. They timed the Irresistible Forces tag title change exactly right for me. Rhea Ripley gets pinned to lose those belts, and within 24 hours, everything's great for me. I'm Rhea Ripley, I'm going to WrestleMania. So you either start to build a small divide between Rhea Ripley and IYO SKY, or some BS occurs and IYO gets in, and they've just taken 2/3 of WWE's arguable match of the year last year in an attempt to give Jade Cargill something very special indeed at WrestleMania.
Almost like the sequel to that Karrion Kross match in NXT, in front of the 5-way.
Oh God, yeah.
The 4 best like.
When Adam Cole was like
4 best kick pad guys. Do something with Karrion Kross. Jesus Christ.
Like, I think Rhea Ripley and Jade Cargill on its own, by the way, is a massive wrestle. The proper stuff, like the biggest consistent star they've got versus somebody that looks like the biggest consistent star, and you sell it as is, you know, like how does Rhea Ripley beat Jade Cargill? It doesn't matter that Jade Cargill hasn't really had any good matches. It's all in the presentation, and I have no doubt they can get it over the line. IYO SKY vastly increases the quality of it, and there's more narrative drama because they've become proper friends, they're proper allies, and it's like, no, the belt is the belt. Like, or it's this idea of IYO's got nothing going into WrestleMania when she would have fully expected to have been a tag champion if only bloody Rhea didn't get pinned. I think it's in nice health.
You know what? It's a children's television show, WWE, and most of the time, I think it just doesn't lend itself to any kind of decent analysis because it's a children's television show. Michael Hamflett will once again prove me wrong. I didn't think of that angle, and there is potential to do it. You know, different strokes, different folks, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because I looked at that result and all the rest of it, and we'll review the match later, of course, and just thought, my God, Road Dogg has done a terrible job with that SmackDown Women's Division. Like, terrible. Absolutely abysmal, because there's not a single match, really, that... With Bianca Belair, who's not been on SmackDown, right? So you have to do, theoretically, something between a SmackDown wrestler and your SmackDown champion. The fact that they couldn't do that and thought, geez, this Raw's been quite good on the women's side of things in terms of promoting stars. In fact, it's been very good. You got Vaca, Liv Morgan. I think they're cringeworthy, but fans love them. Rio, 4 big players. Even if you think Becky Lynch is terrible and AJ Lee's been a psyop for 10 years. They've done a good, like
Raquel and Roxanne on the underneath. It's a healthy division on Raw too.
Lyra's off the boil, but they were doing well with her for a bit. SmackDown is in the gutter. Yes, I like Chelsea Green as much as anyone. Yes, you could say, Julia's been doing all right, and Kiana James has done a bit more. And
Tiffany
all the rest
could do with turning.
Like, it's just the only half decent stuff is proper stale on SmackDown. The fact that they couldn't get a WrestleMania match out that existing roster, and you've had 12 months to plant seeds, to develop talent, to separate wrestlers, not good enough at all. That's my perspective on all that. And in terms of what IYO does, it feels like she's collateral because Road Dogg can't do his job. Couldn't do, like, you should have, like, who can we build up, promote from NXT if needs be, because this Bianca thing is very much up in the air, in the balance. Let's get someone from Raw. I hope, for IYO's sake, she genuinely gets something to do at Mania, and she isn't just her Mania moment, I apologize, isn't impacted because Road Dogg's so incompetent, because she got so over last year and they didn't do a thing really with her.
Like,
I say they didn't do a thing. She remains over, and she got some like high profile matches, but there was a sense that they could have done a bit more, certainly with a title run.
Yeah, I suppose it's like how you, we don't need to speak for the wrestlers, I guess, how you as a fan, or what your perception, if you're like a massive IYO SKY fan and like Triple H claims to be on Unreal, you would have her, as we all would, if you've got your favourites, you want them in a prominent spot at WrestleMania. And then sometimes the stories shake out in such a way. Like, I don't think IYO SKY has been, from the kind of the summer onwards, after I agree with you, post-WrestleMania, like fumbling really of just how over she was. I feel like they rectified that pretty much, and I don't really like Rio either as an act, but I think it's very clear they've worked. IYO SKY accompanying Rhea Ripley to the ring. Like, I think you have to look at that in its context rather than, God, all she is a manager this year. Like, I would say as a fan, well, there's a pretty big story potentially brewing there, or there's like the fact that she is nothing but a humble manager because they've lost the tag belts and it's Rhea Ripley's fault, and like this is a 52-week-a-year soap opera, isn't it? There's a story there and there's a build that can exist for something, and she's on the show, she's walking the aisle. It's like,
as much as I concede that point could fuel a massive Rhea versus IYO match at WrestleMania 43, would it be?
Yeah.
See, I'm getting the bloody cognitive decline when you reach 40 is really scary, actually.
I really didn't like when they took the numbers away. Like,
no.
It didn't help like my aging brain at the time.
And I do get that. Equally, that won't wash with me when I have to watch a Seth Rollins match.
No.
Could we watch an IYO SKY match instead of this?
No, yeah.
No, what was it? I was really struggling to say a word the other day. I was like, I cannot get this out.
Oh, cognitive decline. It's bad, isn't it?
Oh, it's real bad. What was it? I remember seeing the word ticklets, but I wasn't talking about tickets.
Oh, so
I just said ticklets instead of something else. Like, what the f*** am I talking about here? Ticklets?
What were you talking about?
I don't know. I've even forgot that.
Well, you were talking there about Seth Rollins, and we should talk about him because Adam Pearce has promised to address the whole Rollins situation post Elimination Chamber and, well, whatever happens next with Division, I assume.
I think this is brilliant if anybody actually likes Seth Rollins, but nobody does. Like, a guy, they tease a masked man when it is very apparent it's a different masked man, and we don't know who the masked men are, but it's men. And then 24 hours before the reveal, a guy gets rumbled for it, and they're who's this? What's going on there? Even Logan Paul is saying it. Everybody's saying it. Sports Illustrated is saying it. Like, and with the way the internet works, which is what they know happens, like, it was post-wrestling where I saw it. I'll give them a plug, but I imagine every website had it. Here's this guy He's a Seth Rollins trainee. Great. Right, so that's the direction. Thank you for that. Now I can put these pieces together. You have 24 hours, less than, if you've not even watched SmackDown, to ruminate on that, and then they give you the payoff. Like, again, if it's a wrestler people like, I think this is good booking. But it's Seth Rollins, so there's always this hint of like, oh, it's Seth Rollins. Like, but I think this is like a well-told story for a guy that is like, right, you, all of you bastards, let's pretend the division aren't cursed and none of them are injured. You red bastards have taken my idea, you've grown in number, and you've taken everything away from me. Well, I'll get some numbers of my own to do some dirty work as a way to get in your heads, physically take you out, and then get my revenge. I think it's a good story. Like, but Seth Rollins is like a lot of people's, I don't know, work rate Miz or something. Like, there is no liking him. And I think like the reveal, which I think is perfectly effective. There is a problem in that the payoff match doesn't seem to exist. Like, I don't know what Bron Breakker's situation is. Logan Paul, we've done it 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and it was a far more interesting arrangement of the two wrestlers when it happened then versus if it was to happen now. So they have a situation to address in terms of the actual match, because I don't think Logan Paul as a singles match flies yet. But in terms of this is the comeback story, I like it.
I hate it. I don't hate it. It's one of those where you can plot whatever you want. If the star power's not there, it doesn't matter if it makes sense, in my opinion, or whatever, right? My take on this is, like, if you look at the main event, night one main event of last year, and the subsequent idea to position Seth Rollins as the top heel on Monday Night Raw, I was consistent, and quite frankly, I was correct throughout the entire year. He's not the guy. This is boring. It ain't going to work. Probably not going to launch anyone's career as a main eventer. Seth Rollins is boring. Raw's boring. This sucks. They've whiffed the Netflix deal. If you look at the three players in that main event last year, the night one, and you were meant to sort of receive them as equals, there's not a chance in hell that CM Punk is doing this at Elimination Chamber 2026, or Roman Reigns is doing something in this sort of, like, on this level. Seth Rollins has found his level. This is the level. I find it boring. What's funny about this, to me, a hater, is that Seth Rollins is what I would consider a psyop, who by virtue of working in WWE and being well-liked by WWE and positioned at a certain level for so long by WWE, he's a star. Is he? Like, is he? Every now and then he'll surprise me with a Hell in a Cell 2022 or whatever, but he's not. He's not. He just isn't. The other person who I would consider a WWE psyop, and if you look at his record as an arena draw, a TV draw, for years, who got the title after him in certain years and actually pumped up the ratings because, Orton's gone. Might be interesting now with someone who's been in it even longer. Mark Henry has got the belt. That's the biggest indictment of Orton there is. He's another psyop. He is not a star. They had to downsize the NXT that he got advertised to appear on because he's not a star. Mark Henry was a bigger draw than him in 2011. They've just insisted he's a star, and he looks the part of a star, and he's been put in the main events as a star. Oh, he must be a star. 2009 Randy Orton went crazy, man. Did he? Not really a star, right? So it's quite fitting, therefore, that what Seth Rollins is doing now with this, the detritus that is the Vision, is basically what Orton was doing at WrestleMania 26. Just go, like, the idea was he was meant to elevate Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase Jr. He couldn't. It's Orton. Seth Rollins can't do anything with these. It's Seth Rollins, psyop. All these things will get revealed, and he could wrestle both of them if he wants.
It's a terrific comparison.
Paul in theory. That's
I really like that
that's where they are. That's the level. Don't give me none of that. Right? I've been here before, and I've been here before at WrestleMania 26.
I like that comparison a lot.
Thank you.
That match didn't belong anywhere further up the card than it did. It did belong in the card, but it didn't belong any further up. Ted DiBiase was a bust. Cody Rhodes had very obvious potential. Me and Sidgwick disagree to this day on those trunks from WrestleMania 26.
They're fantastic.
I despise them.
What?
I love the white boots, but the trunks do not work for me. The autumnal Orange trunks.
I love them.
Yeah, I can't bear them. They do match
Really?
They do match the lighting of the building. That orange hue they put on the Arizona WrestleMania, which I did like.
My God, you know what they look like? There was a certain bike that I needed when I was younger, and I just never got it. Like, I was a spoiled little bastard. My family didn't even have much money. I just must have been that irritating and that persistent that I seemed to get like a decent amount of what I asked for at the time. So when you give me your Oliver Twist, Bubbling Squeaks stories, I feel like really sorry for you.
No frills crisp.
You should have been more of a prick.
Yeah, maybe.
So
Squeaky wheel.
this blending in stuff that you try to do.
Blending in.
Okay.
Eat my crisps off my fed. Go
Was
to bed.
it a Rally Mustang? I'm gonna have to Google this.
What, the colour bike? Is that what we're looking for?
It was like I think it was called a Mustang or a Rally or something.
Rally
like
Mustang mountain bike is popping up here.
That. Did it look like a bronzy, rusty, burnt orange colour?
They're just trying to sell me it now.
Burnt orange was the Cody.
Yeah, it was. Oh God, it just looked like that bike, man. Either way, I thought it was beautiful. And what I liked about it was his thing was everyone wears kick pads.
Yeah.
And wants to look cool. He wanted the higher waist, the no knee pads to be more like a Bockwinkel, timeless guy. And that was his first sort of like, I'm trying to be an actual wrestler here, guys. That's one of his first tells with his gear.
Because he did it, he realised the white trunks when he became Dashing Cody Rhodes that he hadn't. Remember that ugly little white hooded waistcoat thing? And like, if he'd have gone bright white that year against Blandy and Ted, he could have, that would have been the one he would have popped. But like, I like the comparison on 2 counts. One, it's absolutely spot on in terms of my perception of them as stars.
Yes.
But Seth Rollins fits into my other recent, you know what you need to be kind of a WWE about, gang? Is this, tries to push a guy, fails to push a guy, demotes the guy accordingly. Damian Priest, Jey Uso. Now, the Seth Rollins one is funnier because they're on about the 6th cycle of the bit.
Yes.
But he absolutely offers something to an undercard. Like Seth, and I know it sounds hair ruffling, and he hates having his hair ruffled, but this is why I'm a situational Seth guy. Stick him on the undercard, let people sing his song. I want to see what he wears for WrestleMania. Get the 10 minutes out there with the moves and get the fuck out. Like, I actually welcome that. I don't want him in the main event. I agree with you on that one. But Seth Rollins belongs on WrestleMania cards. He elevates them. He elevates a mid card by his presence. Mid card feels bigger for Seth. Main event feels smaller. Like, main event feels middle of the card feels bigger. Randy Orton, much the same, actually, in 2010. Mid card feels a little bit bigger. Out the main event forever, please, until 2023 when you come back balloon armed. Then I like you. So again, I think it's where it all fits for me. Like, the vision hasn't worked as a star making device. Seth Rollins as the lead heel of Raw in 2025 didn't work. I think it was worth giving it a bash.
Nah.
I think this acceptance of
you were doing so well.
This acceptance of its failure by demoting it to the mid card and finding where it fits. Great. Like, not everything has to be a 10.
It's the
like
significant rights deal and change they had in decades, probably.
Oh,
in
like
terms of like the way that the flagship show is consumed across the world. You know who should go with? A guy who bombed 7 years ago in the top guy role.
Just take the swing 10 times out of 10, and if it fails, change it. Like, Drew McIntyre was worth putting the belt on. Genuinely, like, it was interesting in the moment that they belted up Drew McIntyre. It's failed, so they're going to fix it, or they're going to six-pack that bitch, or whatever it is they're going to do. Like, in the acknowledgement of Drew McIntyre hasn't worked as the tippy-top guy WWE champion, they'll address that now, and if it ends up lower on one of the undercards, like, so be it. Like, you get back, you find the next top guy, or Cody goes back on top, or whatever it is.
You know what's happening on Friday, by the way?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Like, great. Like, that's exponentially more interesting to be having a WWE title match now, like at this time in the calendar, as it was when Drew won it in the first place. Like, if Drew loses it, like, I think this has been more interesting television for the whole thing happening. Even if you can acknowledge Drew McIntyre was once again not really the guy to be the guy.
Yeah,
like, I like
killed him.
I think, like,
yeah, I've killed him in the process.
But I think but there's always new guys. You know, you can,
yeah, Drew McIntyre. I'm not going to weep for Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, you can kill them and they don't have to go. Jey Uso's back in the tag division. You know, like, Damian Priest isn't really hurting anybody doing silly bollocks backstage stuff with the occasional TV program. Like, I didn't want the Mally Black thing to go as long as it did, but it's no harm being this, like, I don't know. I would say, like, it's been a theme of Triple H's run is that he does go with people, and then some of them don't take it. It's like, right, off you go back to the mid-card factory. Like,
I wish Seth Rollins would go there.
Someone who has taken
Go
those.
home, Seth.
Dominik Mysterio, Intercontinental Champion. For now, at least, he defends that title tonight against Penta.
Again with this?
I mean, this is the end of this, though, you would think, because of what we assume Dominik's direction is going to be.
First WWE show, son.
Like, he beats him. It's back to being King of the Luchadors, because you got to keep the dead man sweet. Can't bury old takes territory. It's the hardest one in the business. But you see, you tend to that. You water that plant over there, and then in the meantime, like, the grass remains green where you're watering it, which based on Saturday is a Finn Balor Dominik Mysterio singles match for the IC title, which I think has great potential. I'm trying really hard not to heap yet more praise on a match that I can save for the Elimination Chamber review, but it's gone in a way that I didn't expect, this Dominik Finn chemistry, or this apparent chemistry.
And also, we're saying that this was originally planned for SummerSlam last year, this match.
Well, because if you can reflect back on some of our Raw reviews, there's often been some tension in the Judgment Day. Things aren't what they seem in the clubhouse. It's always there. But then that's why you keep it always there, because you never know when you might need it, and they can dial it up now.
This again.
Dominik beats Penta to
Dominik versus Penta again.
I know. But they've started to find a ceiling with Penta as well. Like another example, it was really, really fun. It bordered on becoming, I love Penta. Is the top guy potential in him? Probably not. So we'll get him to where we can get the absolute most out of him, and there's always a tag run.
I'm not doing this on purpose. Have you found a way to say that our cooling off guys is really good, actually?
No, they're not cooling them off manually. They're proving that they can't get any hotter. Okay, so then what you do, but like allow them to sit where they belong. Okay. It's like man management.
I get it. I get it.
I'm looking at my starting 11 versus my subs. That's what I'm doing. It's my sports team, isn't it? Like,
it's your religion. We've established that.
It's all of them.
Blind faith.
Also tonight, Gunther versus Dragon Lee is going to be fun.
No, that's a bit of me, that.
Great that this is happening on TV.
Yeah. So, masochism.
Mm-hmm.
Then what?
Well, I've done it again. I want to say it was Jay Knight, and I'm so sorry if it wasn't, but the comment who I wanted to put over, and we did, and then I forgot his name, sorry, noted, and I like this, because this used to be 2023, 2024, every detail matters. Gunther was booted out the building, so was unable to even have the chance to answer Brock Lesnar's open challenge last week. Nice. Yes. Like, if nothing else, narrative explanation of why. I don't. Like, Gunther's just noping that, is he? If that's the match. I'm not so sure it is. It doesn't feel like that's the dynamic. I still feel
like they don't want to be either of them.
Obafemi feels like the move, if they can actually commit to Obafemi winning. This idea that, like, he's going from just destroying the absolute goobers to taking on hypothetically... Thank you. Hypothetically, the biggest challenge there is...
the new Undertaker, in his own words.
I can be your Undertaker. Like, hypothetically, going from the, like, you know, the lowest of the low to, you know what, actually, I'm going to skip every other step and defeat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. It's not bad booking for Obafemi. So it doesn't feel like that. But Gunther with the Dragon Lee disposed of, like...
Ray's the name that's been mentioned, obviously.
It just works. Like, you do career killer stuff, you do horrible bullying Gunther stuff. You, like, Rey Mysterio is this, like, deceptively old guy because of, like, his working style, the mask and the stem he sees. Like, just dial up his age a bit. You know, you've got the footage to show 25 years of, like, Fed matches alone, let alone the fact that he was at it from when he was 13 or whatever it is.
Triple A library now, of course.
Of course. Like, you can free the dead man again. Yeah. Like, the...
got, like, standard definition, you know?
Mm-hmm.
All sorts.
It's and it would be a good WrestleMania match. Again, I think about these things in terms of, if you haven't lined up every single piece perfectly, you look at what you do have and you just make it as big as you possibly can. That's historically sort of the story of WrestleMania. There are a lot of matches that you look back on cards years later and you can scarcely believe that they, like, darkened a WrestleMania door. And yet, in the moment, the idea is, well, that'll do if we polish that turd. Gunther and Rey Mysterio is not a turd, but it's something that you can absolutely, like, sort of drive up the interest in through, like, leaning on the history of the Mysterio family, leaning on, like, just Gunther's pissing himself indifference to legacy and the history of the business and all that sort of stuff. They're in a good place for it to make it big. As a mid-card match, like, bigger than half the stuff that will have belts in it.
Yeah.
So he's going to murder Dragon Lee.
Yeah. It's just that it's the post-match I'm interested in as much as the match. Like, they had flashes of physical chemistry in the brawls the other week that I thought were really strong, really encouraging. I'm really actually excited about a wrestling match on Monday Night Raw. Honestly. This is potentially much better than anything we saw on Saturday.
Finally.
Significantly better.
Speaking of Saturday.
Significantly, bro.
This is going to be very difficult to answer without. It's a bit like driving with a handbrake on here because it's going to be one of the big things we talk about in the Elimination Chamber review. That is Danhausen, of course. Reports seem to suggest he could well be on this Raw. What's next for him? What do they do with him? How do they follow up his Chamber appearance?
We've got an hour. We've got an hour on this pretty much, haven't we already?
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep it sweet and say we're going to give an analytical breakdown about why it went the way that it did, right? I'm going to offer one question to my colleagues here, right? Part of me thinks, yeah, it was crap, but they can make it work. And then I stop and pause. What is it about those particular dudes that we see on Unreal who are plotting this show, who can get daft bollocks over because it's WWE and they are a purveyor of it? What is it about Danhausen's brand, specifically of daft bollocks? I don't think they're going to be able to get it. I don't even know what it is, to be honest, with Danhausen. Like, I don't think it's particularly clever or sophisticated, so maybe he has found the perfect promotion. But if you look at what he's been tweeting, and I guess this is consistent with some of the stuff that... Basically, one of his tweets was, "Is Cold Steve Austin still the generalized manager of Raw?" Ooh. To which I quote tweeted, some of it's in brackets, so you have to bear with me.
Good tweet, this.
Turns out Chris Jericho's 1999 patter was in the crate after all.
That's good. Is it? That's this weekend he's tweeting.
And he said, "Is Rock speech marks the Dwayne Johnson?" It's like, I was just going to play Chris Jericho 1999 with some crap face paint.
You done that, like, yikes stuff for me, that.
So maybe the act is terrible and it'll be some terrible broad comedy.
Do you know what? I didn't get Danhausen when I first saw it or watched him growing his audience and like way pre-AEW as well, because it was it wasn't an overnight sensation, was he? He kind of worked at that and he crafted something, and like I didn't get it at all, and then I did. Like, so like everybody creatively within WWE, 20,000 people, whatever it was in the United Center, booing him. Like, I think it can. It'll either happen or it won't. And I'm just speaking of my own personal experience. I kind of surrendered to it, and I was like, yeah, that's brilliant, actually. Like, I completely got why it worked within the context of something as daft and broad as pro wrestling. It'll take or it won't, but I have faith in him to like be his authentic self to try and make it take.
I thought it was funny.
It was.
I'm really looking forward to reviewing that.
Yeah,
truly,
I did quite enjoy watching it bomb.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. Not particularly out of any sort of malice towards him. I think I quite like him, but
I've never cared.
Yeah,
I felt a bit sorry for him, if anything.
A little bit.
I couldn't remember how I felt. I was thinking of Danhausen. What did I think about this guy? How did we talk about him on the...
Remember the boot off when he debuted in AEW?
I remember being more like, who cares, it's AEW. They've got a long history of just tertiary characters on the margins, just doing stuff. Like, Cassidy was that before he went like in the ring all the time, and they've always had just kind of just guys, like way more manager friendly than WWE. I remember thinking more, I don't care about the boot off. It's fine. It's so optional, this Danhausen stuff in AEW, which I imagine it will be in the Fed as well. I reckon at most I've done a bit of good. And I reckon that I think there was a match, he barely wrestled, thank God, where he did the juxtaposition bit where this dumbass, weird, irreverent comedy character, he got serious. And I remember he did a German suplex once, and it was pretty cool.
I just remember the edit of him saying, I think it's to Hook, if you don't want to team with Danhausen, you will fight Danhausen. And it's the edit where it goes to the My Way, music starts playing. And I was like, oh my God, do I want to see this? And I was like, that's all it takes for me as a wrestling fan, clearly.
I've got thoughts on why I was happy that it failed. But I'm really looking forward to going bit by bit on that.
Yeah.
Later on.
We'll talk more about it in the Elimination Chamber review, but let us know your thoughts ahead of Raw tonight in the comments section below, or on X at WhatCulture WWE. Or actually, they can follow all four of us, sort of. You can follow Michael Hamflett at
hamflettx@gmail.com. I'm also on Cameo.
Follow Michael Sidgwick at
Sidgwick.
Follow our producer Adam Nicholas at
It's Adam Nicholas.
And you can follow me at Adam Wilbourn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE, as I said. And make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcast from, for daily wrestling podcasts, as Sidge said later on today. Reviewing Elimination Chamber live on YouTube. But for now, it's been the Raw Preview. My thanks to Hamflett, Sidgwick, Nicholas. Thank you for joining us. And we will see you soon.